Hello, Ian. Right, another good point with a very long story attached and a very long road we have travelled. Capitalism, right? Well, you think of capitalism, it sends shivers down your spine. Basically, if you understand the whole infrastructure and the meaning of capitalism, I think capitalism started from when we were little kids. Basically, the two brothers, the two sisters growing up together, and one have decided there's money to be made by exploiting the other one, you know. Uh, but as a lot of people have said, whole society is built on capitalism, and countries that come along rebel and have their revolutions, etc. And at the end of the day, they will all end up as a capitalist society again. And I can see where you're coming from about, let's get capitalism out of our system. It's like saying, you got a house with 10 people living in it. Let's all become, say, if it's, you got a few that are thieves in it, and let's make the whole lot thieves, and at the end of the day, there's nothing to thieve from because you all thieve from each other, and at the end of the day, you got a house full of thieves, and there's no longer need to steal from each other anymore. Of a house full of killers, you either go around killing each other till there's nobody left, or you create an equilibrium. Sounds ideal, sounds logical in some ways, but could never happen because at the end of the day, life isn't built like that, and somehow we need to exploit the whole logic of capitalism. Why is it that the brother that decides to nick from the other brother or exploit the other brother should get on in this world, and he creates a whole society to make sure that all these brothers who exploits the other brothers well benefit. I suppose he has to. The old saying, birds of the same feather flock together. I don't suppose he could get the other brother that he's been hustling all the time to be on his side. But yet, our whole society is built on that mentality. Where does the infrastructure start of capitalism? It starts when we send our children to school. Basically, if we push all our children on the same equal basis, capitalism will cease to exist. You will have a room full of capitalists, and it doesn't work. You can't exploit it. Capitalists can't sit there and exploit. Could you imagine, like, the top capitalists we have in our society? Could you imagine having a whole world full of them? It just couldn't happen. They probably end up killing each other or whatever. So they need to breed a crop, basically, of people who they can exploit. So that's where it starts. When we send our kids to school, basically, we're sending them into an infrastructure that somebody above is going to decide whether your child is going to achieve getting into this position of capitalism and to rule the world. And you're back to personas again. You see, this the brother that is exploited the other brother, who's lovely and kind chap, easy going, caring, loving. No good for capitalism. So when all the old capitalist gang get together, all these nasty little brothers, little assholes, get together, and they they create a society, from the word go at school. When you go to university, you think you're good at what you're doing, but that doesn't matter. That's not going to get you into the capitalist world. What gets you into the capitalist world is your background and your mentality. And if you have that mentality, if your parents, has kissed the ass and scratched the back of all the right people in life, and his children will get on, of course. That is one of the uh, important, how do I put it? One of the important keys you need to possess. The more your parents possess this background and infrastructure, the more easier for you to get into these positions. Well, I thought I'll try to kill two birds with one stone. Yeah. Well, actually, it's quite related to all of this. There's a lot of nasty things at present going around on the internet about monkeys and God knows what else. And I think when you look at capitalism, you can go right back to the days of the monkeys, I suppose. If our forefathers, if science is correct, that we did originate from these types of background. There's logic attached to it. Won't be surprised at all. But it shows you that capitalism even started from way back, days that we were apes, where old mum and dad managed to get a few bananas ready for the son that they thought was the magnificent, to go out into the big world and exploit, just like creating an infrastructure of what we think today could have been colonialism. Probably that's what the apes done. They learn how to dry the bananas and all the little fruits they could for this sun that was going to go out and create this new world, and loved him the world, done everything they could for him, gave him their last banana to go and exploit the world and come back one day, and they would be proud of him to think that their sons helped create this new world. Well, I think capitalism started way back then. Sadly, you see it today, where sons, working class parents scrimp and scrape to get the pennies together to help their children be educated. And I dealt with old people's homes once upon a time, and I've seen where the parents are lucky to be alive together and both end up in the same old people's home, but their sons had fantastic jobs, where they were top directors of massive firms, staying in the States where they running a massive big company, can't afford to step out the office for half an hour in case somebody else is dying to get into their shoes. That's capitalism again. And parents understand that, they want their kids to be in these extreme high positions where they know that we live in a nasty world full of people wanting to be the top capitalists. Anyway, going back again to Mother Ape, Daddy Ape. Well, that's what happened, I think, in our society. Capitalism even started way back then, where the sons grow up and the daughters grow up, and further north they travel, the paler they got. Turned into finally what we call the white man today, but there you go. You see, capitalists are very ungrateful people. You can't be a capitalist with a lot of gratitude. I can tell by the Chinese society once upon a time. In some areas, they still find it you know, this it's still the practice still go on where if you employ people that come and help you within your family to turn it into a massive business, your gratitude was to pay back and give when they start work in the morning to give them a free breakfast and a free lunch. But when they observe us, the real ruthless capitalists, the people that are ruling the world, they are starting to drop these behaviors. I think once upon a time you could go and work for a Chinese firm that would do this to you, but now the bigger they're getting, the more Western way of thinking, they're ceasing to do these things anymore. They don't look upon somebody is coming to their family and help them improve their wealth and their business. Uh, you know, somebody's giving up their life and their precious time to help them accomplish something in their name. They don't look at it like that anymore. Well, I guess you're starting to get the drift of it, Ian. Yes, it's the poor mother and daddy apes, never had us back. It's like children who grew up and become very important multi-billionaires. Some of them, if they come from very poor backgrounds, they're even ashamed to go back and see their parents or even live anywhere near them. So now that's where we're at. This is the human race we have today. We've come a long way. We even got to a point where we even if it could be proved that we are from the apes, there would be a huge bunch who refuse to accept that as the truth, because that's how man is. He's extremely selfish, self-indulged, and it'll be very hard for a certain group to change. They'll be stubborn, to the point where they sooner destroy everything than to see the logic in things. No, we've been very, very nasty children. We've grown up. We forgot the background we come from. Poor mum and dad ape still waiting for our return. We won't return to them. We will sooner go and wipe the bloody lot of the mouth rather than to return to them. That's the sort of children we are. That's the reality of it, But I think what when I listen to some of your videos, and you do communicate and from the heart, and even though it's you're a million miles away from the logic, I think. But nevertheless, you're speaking out. Some of the things you say, you're open to this. It's so easy to come and criticize you and whatever, but somebody needs to talk about it, and you are the one that is talking about it. And no, it's somebody needs to talk about it, and that's why I found it important that I had to reply to this, because there were so many implications that I've come across on the net, that friends have email me videos just to watch and whatnot. And how could you answer these problems that we have in society today, when the infrastructure is within us, this cancer of evil, but you've brought up a thing that in communicating, whether some of us want to accept this cancer exists. Well, it's at least we're taking the first step, basically, to a plateau that is reality. That is where that is what it's all about. And we need to take these first steps, even though it takes us 10 years to take each step. At least it's a step in the right direction. I think as far as achieving in a united human race, I think We need to abolish all the schools for a start, or create a special school where every parents can monitor the behavior of the teachers and how they're teaching their individual little angels. But the thing is, we don't grow up like that. We all put our faith in these people above us, these people in these positions that we believe to have the interests of our children at heart. Well, they don't. They have only interest in what they want to achieve in the society that has been created, not by them, but by the people all before them. Those children that walked away from the apes, from Kota Kende, or whatever they want to call it. No, this is where it's come from. It's basically, we are those children, and whether the day we could sit down and realize that we are stuck here in this world that is dominated by a group of people that are, because of the mentality, because the money, the sort of lifestyle they can gain, they will infect the whole world with this type of mentality, and you won't be going down the road you think of capitalism reaching to the ultimate stage where we all can benefit from it. No, it just doesn't work. Capitalists need people to capitalize upon. People who want an easy life need slaves, basically, and that's how it is. Well, I think I've made this quite long enough, and probably another time we need to go down this road of communication and take these little steps towards logic of where do we begin to create a society that we can sit back and respect, and probably show some love to our mums and dads who are apes.